Alright, so in this video today, I got a bit of enthusiasm. The draft is coming up in a month's time. Let's get into it. But in this video today, I'm going to be doing a Houston Rockets prospect analysis video. So what's that? Well, it's basically where I evaluate different prospects they could take with the 4th pick. I explain to you guys how they might fit with the Rockets, how they might not fit with the Rockets, giving my overall opinion. I'm breaking down their game and the type of things they're good at and not so good at, and overall coming to a conclusion whether or not, in my opinion, there'll be a beneficial pick for the Houston Rockets to make. But yeah, I'm going to make this type of content more of a trend on this page or channel. So please, in the comment section down below, let me know what prospects you want me to talk about next. My first prospect today is about Thompson. So please let me know what you guys think about the video. But before I get into it, please like the video, subscribe if you like the content, share the content to your friends, your peoples, you feel me, help the content get out. But without further ado, let's cut all the BS and let's jump right into the video. So who is Thompson? So he's a point guard / small forward. He's 6'7" with about a 6'11", 7-foot wingspan. So he has good size for his position, and he played for the City Reapers of Overtime Elite. He has a twin brother named Alsa, and it's hard to not get them mixed up because in my eyes they look pretty damn identical. And he's 20 years of age and turns 21 in January 2024. So that's kind of the information I've got for him as a person, physical appearance and stuff like that. But what did he do at OTE? What was his performances like? What type of numbers did he put up? And we're going to talk about that right now. So last season at Overtime Elite, or this past season, he averaged 16.4 points per game, 5.9 assists, 5.9 rebounds, 2.3 steals, basically a block a game, on an impressive shooting split from the floor at 56.6%. However, 25% from 3 on 3 attempts per game, basically. And from the line, he shot a disappointing 65.6% from the line and played a decent, 27.5 minutes per game. But another kind of question mark is the 3.2 turnovers. Now, if you were just looking at his stats with a naked eye, / you've never really seen Thompson play before, it's not hard to tell that he's pretty well-rounded. He can get points, he can somewhat dish the rock, rebound. That's if I was someone who'd never seen him play before. I was looking at his stats, so he looks somewhat well-rounded. By the way, I'm going to go into more detail later on. I'm just speaking about his stats as a whole. But the one glaring weakness for someone who's meant to be a point guard, potentially point guard, shooting guard, small forward, but I see him as more of 1/3, is that 3-point percentage and free throw percentage has to increase. He has to get better at those things in order for him not to be held back too much. But enough of me talking about his stats as a whole. Let's talk about Thompson's strengths as a whole. So I feel like Thompson, from when you watch him play, you realize he is stupid quick. Like, the guy is 6'7", but moves like a guard who might be 5'11", because that quick first step as he's about to take a dribble is just so explosive. He can blow by a defender with one dribble. He's that quick. And as a whole, he has freakish athleticism. I believe he has a 44-inch vertical, which is unofficial. I don't think it's been officially, it's not officially ranked by the combine, but it's rumored to be a 44-inch vertical. He can jump out of the gym. He's dumb explosive. He's quick. And to top it off, he's a great finisher at the rim with both hands, who has the size and length to not only get by defenders, but potentially finish in a variety of ways. He shot 71% at the rim, which is good to see. So he's someone who you could use in a variety of ways. He could be in the short roll, he could be a pick and roller, he could be in the dunker spot on offense. Who knows? There could be a lot. I'm just saying, if he's off the ball, but there could be a lot of things that you could do with this guy when you're that long, athletic, and have such good touch around the rim. Another thing which stands out to him is that he's great at pushing the tempo, which is expected because he's a quick guy. He can push the ball very well. He has good ball handling skills for his height, and as a whole, he sees the floor very well. Like, I've seen Thompson make some impressive passes, find open shooters, and as a whole make the right basketball play. So that's another heads up and another sign that he can be a competent point guard, because in my opinion, his position is still up in the air. I don't think he's a 3 because he does have some skill sets of a point guard, but at the same time, that shooting has to improve, because we've seen with someone like Ben Simmons in the past, if you're a point guard not shooting the ball, it messes up the space for the entire team, as they're just going to sag off you when you're trying to set up the offense in the half court, which just cannot happen. But as a whole, he has great court vision, and his ball handling skills, like I touched on earlier, are fantastic. Like, the guy is 6'7", but he can really handle the ball. He can get low. He has quick hands as well. So he's someone who can definitely maneuver through tight spaces. and overall just dice through the defense and potentially get to the rim. Now, lastly, which is the biggest selling point for Amen in my opinion, is he's such a good on-ball defender and is switchable. Now, if this guy is a point guard or even a small forward, I don't really care. The fact that he can guard multiple positions is such a bonus. Now, I'm not talking about at a low level. He's a very, very good on-ball defender. I hate it when I see guys with stupid athleticism but are terrible defenders. That's just about you not locking in. Or Amen Thompson is completely different. He's locked in defensively on the ball, which I should specify, and can really cause havoc for opposing ball handlers. Remind you, this guy basically averages 1 block per game as a guard. He might be 6'7", yeah, but that's an impressive feat right there. And if he carries that over to the next level, he's going to make a very, very potentially mediocre backcourt defensively become above average or even average. So the point is, he can definitely elevate you defensively and can be in a very sort of depth lineup where you have a bunch of guys, so between 6'5" to 6'9", who can switch 1 through 4, 1 through 5, and overall just be hell on guarding the perimeter and forcing guys off the perimeter to drive inside. You get what I'm trying to say? And on top of that, which tops it off, he has a very high motor. Like, everyone at Overtime Elite speaks about Amen Thompson's will to get better, willingness to improve his jump shot, willingness to just continue to work on his game. And those are the type of things you want to hear, because even if he's not the most polished guy coming in, some of that mindset, that work ethic is naturally going to do whatever it takes to get better, and you can only bank on him reaching his full potential. So that's definitely something to watch out for when so many people can testify and say your motor is very high, because yeah, it just shows how much of a hard-working individual you could be and how likely you could be to reach your full potential. Now, unfortunately, we do have to talk about the weaknesses, which are quite obvious. You know, he's a subpar 3-point shooter at 25%. I briefly touched on it earlier why this can't happen. If you're going to be the primary ball handler in the half court, you can't be shooting 25% from 3, because a lot of times, especially in the playoffs, he was being sagged off a lot. And guess what happened? He didn't really make the defenses pay as much, which is going to overall limit your game. So if you can get that 3-point percentage at the NBA level to around 34%, so around respectable, that will open up the floor for him and his teammates a lot more, and will enable him to showcase his offensive game a bit more. And yeah, also another thing which kind of signifies if someone's going to become a competent 3-point shooter or not 9 times out of 10 is their free throw percentage. Now, he was around 65%, which isn't ideal. Like, we were doing the Rockets 2 seasons ago, was a year ago, had Christian Wood and Kevin Porter Jr. who couldn't hit a damn free throw. So do you really want that situation again? I'm not too sure about that, but I'm sure that Amen can work on this aspect of his game. But those are 2 very key points to definitely keep mind of, because you don't want a point guard who can't really shoot or shoot the ball at the foul line. He can be careless with the ball and sometimes out of control, but that comes with his nature of being an athletic guy, very explosive, just powerful and ferocious when attacking the rim. So that kind of happens, but at the same time, if you want to be that primary ball handler in the half court, you need to be able to take care of the ball a lot better than you do. You can't be out of control, and like it ties into earlier, you got to be a better 3-point shooter, because not hypothetically, for example, the ball got taken out of Ben Simmons' hands when he was with the Sixers a lot because he couldn't shoot a ball. Now, I'm not comparing Amen to Ben Simmons. That guy's no one cares about that guy anymore. But realistically, yeah, the point is that you can't be a subpar shooter but also not be able to take care of the ball as a primary point guard. Those things just don't go together. So realistically, he's got to tidy up the turnover part and just become more careful with the ball. But I will say that comes with being able to grow as a player, experience, and just overall just getting more accustomed to the speed of the game and finding your pace. So that definitely comes with time, so I don't really worry about that too much. And his role in offense, like I said, may be a question mark at the NBA level, because do you want him as your primary ball handler? I would say yes, but he also has his deficiencies which kind of hold him back from having those full responsibilities. Offensively, you don't really want him to be in the corner, because that's just going to leave his guy that's guarding him in the corner to rotate and help on whoever, and they're going to dare him to shoot, and he's not the best shooter. If he's running the pick and roll, they're just going to go under the screen every time and dare him to. So it's a bit weird and it's a bit hard. Obviously, there's a way around these things, and because it's the weaknesses side of things, I'm saying the worst case scenario. Obviously, there's ways around all of this. There's still players who have been all NBA level players who can't shoot, but the point is that it's still a concern, and hopefully Amen can work on these things so he can reach his full potential. And competition he was up against at OTE, questionable. Now, a lot of guys like Rob Dillingham who are OT right now, they're going to their respective colleges next year, like Kentucky, whatever, and I feel like Amen Thompson staying at OT for these 2 years, it's not a negative, but would college would have been more beneficial for his development? Maybe. And overall, someone like Mark Cuban, who stated his kind of skepticism of the level of competition there, you know, it might put a couple of NBA GMs or owners off, who knows, but I feel like with Amen Thompson, with his level of work ethic and the intangibles you see there's certain things he has which you can't teach. So would I take a risk on that? Potentially. Now, why could Amen Thompson potentially fit on this Houston Rockets side? Now, one thing is that, okay, cool, do the Rockets need a facilitator? Yes. However, the issue is, do you want to send one of KPJ or Jalen Green to the bench? Well, guess what? With Amen Thompson, he could be potentially a point forward and play the 3 next to Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green. So him being a point forward with his switchability on defense will not only help Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green out, it will also make the Rockets more dynamic, because that's going to be a very, very fast-paced offense, run and gun type style, because there's so many athletes on the floor at the same time. So it's going to give Ime Udoka a lot of creative things to do offensively, and overall defensively, the guy is very switchable. So you're going to have a very tall lineup, because Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green are already tall. So adding another guy who can defend on ball very well will just help the team as a whole defensively. But I feel the biggest selling point is the coach that's steering the ship, and that's Ime Udoka. The guy is a defensive wizard. Like, the Celtics are still a great team now with Joe Mazzulla, but defensively they're not the same. The schemes Ime came up with, the way he utilized guys like Grant Williams, Robert Williams, he's just such a very smart-minded defensive coach. Give him a tool like Amen Thompson and he could turn him into a real defensive juggernaut. So this might be the type of guy Ime Udoka would like to work with, and I feel like Ime will benefit Amen greatly. But as a whole, I can see a world where this is a very good fit for both parties, and this could help the Rockets in a couple of ways, you know what I'm trying to say. But there's also a scenario where he may not fit on the Rockets, and I'm going to highlight some of these reasons now. So obviously I've already spoken about shooting, so I'm not going to touch on that too much. But like I said, Jalen Green is a streaky shooter, but I wouldn't call him a knockdown shooter. He can be at times. Do you want to add another guy to that list? Not really, which is going to leave more attention to the guys like Jalen Green and Kevin Porter Jr. on the perimeter. So it's a bit weird there. Again, do I feel like he complements Jalen Green? Kind of, but there are better fits out there. And Amen kind of might be a project. I said might kind, ignore the typo. He might be a project in the sense that he is still quite raw, pause. There's a lot of things he can work on. And for a team in the Rockets who are trying to get into that next phase of trying to become a playing team, that might not be the direction you're trying to go in. You might want a prospect who is ready to help you next season and will fit perfectly like a glove, or just someone who may have their deficiencies, but you feel like you can plug in right away. I'm not too sure if Amen is that right now. He does have a lot of upside, and I compare him a lot to Jonathan Kuminga, not really player-wise, but in the sense that they have a lot of potential, but they still have a lot of areas that they can work on, which may hold them back from being in the rotation so early on at heavy minutes. But in spurts, they could look great. But it depends on what the Houston Rockets are honestly looking for. But my grade for the Houston Rockets when it comes to Amen Thompson is a 7 out of 10. Why would I say that? Well, quite frankly, there are better fits at pick 4, in my opinion, or better still, trade the pick for more star talent. Realistically, you can't afford to be terrible for 2 more years, because the Thunder have the pick next year top 4 protected, and the year after I believe is unprotected. So what's your incentive to be bad? Nothing really. So if you have a guy who's showing great promise early on, that might even not just help your team in the short and long term, that's another asset. So if another star becomes available, you can throw that guy into the mix as a centerpiece and keep someone like a Jalen Green, hypothetically speaking. So I don't know. I'm not saying there's anything bad about Amen Thompson, but there's better options out there. I'll talk about them in another video. Cough, cough. Taylor Hendricks. I like him a lot as a prospect. I'll talk about him probably tomorrow. But I will probably look to trade the pick and get more of established NBA talent. You feel what I'm trying to say, in the trade market, like a DeRozan, because he could become available, and the 4th pick is very enticing for a Chicago Bulls team who's looking to retool the roster around Zach LaVine, and honestly they're not really going anywhere. So yeah, DeRozan will definitely be a valid option for that pick in my opinion. You might even get something else attached with DeRozan alongside that. But that's all I really got for this video. So it's the first time I'm making a video like this, damn near 15 minutes long. But that's just my opinion on this prospect. Like, I feel like Amen's a great guy, great player, and I would love to add some clips in, but YouTube been handing out copyright strikes left, right, and center. I'm trying to dodge them as much as possible. But yeah, In the comment section down below, guys, let me know your feedback, your opinions on this video, who you want to see next. You know, just give me constructive criticism. But that's honestly all I got for this video. Make sure to stay blessed, people. Stay safe out there. And that's all I got for this video, and I'm out. Peace.